What's up, guys? I know it's been a while since I've done a video. I haven't done videos all this year. Really, all I've done this summer, besides get fat again, as you can see, I've gained some weight back. I'm not nearly as skinny as I used to be. Working on that again, though. But I haven't made videos consistently. But with this way the playoff pushes is become, I have to come on here and vent a little bit, because this used to be my source, my way to get out my pent-up frustration about this motherfucking team. So, as you see, I'm rocking my Packers shirt today. Go Pack Go. Even though the Lions almost made it a one-score game. But let's talk about the Tigers. Now, earlier in the season, I wasn't watching consistently, but the last month and a half, I've been watching a lot more consistently. I've actually gone to quite a few games. I'm probably going to go to the game tomorrow, even though they're playing the Indians. I've been watching a little bit more consistently than I had been. So, last night, Francisco Rodriguez gets on the mound. He has 2 outs. And Paulo fucking Orlando, of all people, ties the goddamn game when, K-Rod had 2 outs. He had gotten down to his last strike. And then Eric Hosmer hits a 3-run shot. And the Tigers lose a game. They had won 5 straight games. This roller coaster team. It's been like this all year. They won 10 straight. 14-16. They get, 12, 13 games over 500. And then they'll go 4-7. They'll lose 4-7 and sink back to 10-9 games over 500. And it's like they got within 3 of the Indians a couple of times this year. And shit the bed. I mean, they're 2-13 against them this year. 2-13. I can't even believe I'm going to go down there tomorrow. I can't. Because Corey Kluber on the mound to begin with against Buck Farmer. The only reason why I'm going down there is because they're doing it to me again. They're giving me this, like, they're not going to go to the World Series. Let's be honest here. They're not, but I want to see them in the playoffs. I want to go to a playoff game. And I know it's getting towards the end of the season. And if they don't make the playoffs, it's going to be no Tigers for a long time. And I want to go down there and see them as much as I can. If they don't make it to the playoffs, even though it's against the Indians. I want to go down there and see them as much as I can. Because I'm going Wednesday for sure. I'm probably going to go tomorrow. And I want to see them. They're giving me this false hope. I mean, they're only 1.5 out. And luckily, Toronto plays the Orioles for 3. And Toronto pulled out of the hair of their ass, beating the Yankees the last 2 days. The Yankees got shut out a few straight games, and they lost today again because of Jose Bautista. And so luckily, what we need is Toronto to sweep the Orioles, and we need to split with the Indians. Because if we could split with the Indians, and the Orioles lose 2 or 3, and we can go play the shit-ass Braves for 3 games, we can make this tight. Because we're only a game and a half out. I mean, this time last week, we were a half game out, and we were actually in a playoff spot. For a little bit this week, we had a game up on them. But, they won 5 straight games, and then K-Rod implodes in the 9th yesterday. They won 6 straight. And it wouldn't have mattered. We would have been tied with Baltimore today. It wouldn't have mattered if we lost this game. But this game today was infuriating. Matt Boyd goes on the mound after having 8 great innings out against Minnesota last game. He comes out and he doesn't even make it out of the first. And he can't even, I'm not mad at Ausmus this game. He was literally looking for anyone to stop the fucking bleeding. Is what it was today. Anyone that could get it out. He was tossing bodies out there and going, well, you try. Because what was he going to do? He's going to burn Alex Wilson, today to have him pitch 3 innings? He can't do that. You got the Indians for 4. You got to save at least someone good. You're not going to put him out there and mop up. So Blaine Hardy pitches, gives up a couple runs. Shane Green pitches, and of course this fuck, he can't get anyone out. He's terrible. He is atrocious. He can't get anyone out. And he was good at the start of the season in the bullpen. He can't get anyone out. No one. And of course, and the Tigers kept chipping away. Victor has a grand slam. They're within 2. What happens? Homer Ball Sanchez is out there fucking tossing it underhand to these people like they got their fucking little kids out on the field going, here you go, Billy, try to hit it. Yeah, and he fucking did. You know, they kept pulling and chipping. You know, the Royals had 3 wild pitches today that led in a run. You know, they get within 2. And you can't be mad at Zimmerman for giving up that run in the 9th. I mean, he was the best pitcher that pitched all day. He looked good. That was good to see. I mean, he gave up 2 extra base hits. But he did have, I think, 3 or 4 strikeouts. So he looked better. You know, it's better than when I saw him a couple weeks ago. I went against when they played the fucking Orioles. And the first pitch of the game to Adam Jones, he gives up a fucking home run. And the Orioles had more home runs. You know, I felt like I was watching Josh Hamilton in 2008 at Yankee Stadium. Fucking 5 home runs in the first 6 innings. Losing 11-2. So it's better to see that, you know, than what he did against the Orioles. So I mean, he pitched good today, but I mean, you can't be mad at him. But they kept chipping, and this is one of those games like I just felt it the entire day. I watched, even when they were getting their asses lit. I'm like, man, they're gonna come back. They're gonna come back because they kept chipping. And you know, Volquez isn't good, and the Royals pitchers gave up a lot of walks today. You know, they gave up a lot of... The Tigers, after Victor hit the grand slam, they reloaded the bases. I think they had the bases loaded 3 or 4 times today. They left a lot of runners on base because they were getting through against the Royals pitchers. You know, it's not like Kansas City pitched a perfect game today. You know, even Davis made it interesting in the 9th. Cabrera's the tying run at the plate. It felt like today was going to be one of those days that was going to be one of those huge wins that puts them over the top. They were going to pull within a half game of Baltimore, go to Cleveland and get some momentum. But no. That game yesterday where K-Rod lets in 5 runs to snap their win streak, it has that same kind of suction, the same kind of punch you in the gut feeling. Like when Ortiz hit that grand slam in 2013 in the ALCS, when they would have left Boston up 2-0. It has that same kind of feeling, that same kind of devastating blow. Because the Tigers had momentum. They were winning games. You know, they were playing good. I mean, this team has a good offense. Miggy has 30-plus bombs. Victor has 27 bombs. Kinsler has 26 bombs. I think Upton has 28 bombs. You know, if JD would have played all year, he would have been 30-plus. Castellanos would have been 25-plus. And I mean, they're doing this with a pieced-together offense. I mean, you know, JD's been hurt sometime this year. Casty's been gone almost, 5 weeks. You know, Iggy was hurt, even though he had a nice pitch and double today. You know, the fucking third base has been a carousel. And Eric Ibar and Casey McGee. I mean, they're doing this with smoke and mirrors, but they're doing it. I mean, they're within 1.5 games of Baltimore. But it's like they're so close, and they're not gonna go to the World Series. I know that. I just want to see. I don't want to see last place finish. I want to see them. You know, if you knock on the door and give yourself an opportunity to creep in, that's better than standing outside the window and watching the game. You know, from the outside. That's all I want to see. I want to go to a playoff game. But just to see this team that has talent, I mean, they have, for the first time in franchise in history, they have 4 players that have over 25 home runs in a season. I mean, they have a good offense, but their bullpen is trash. I mean, why Ausmus keeps using Shane Green in the 8th inning is beyond me. He is so stuck on using these guys that time in and time out fail in circumstance. It just blows my mind. It was like when he had Jabba Chamberlain. Time in and time out, this guy would fail, but he wouldn't use him. I mean, Neftali Feliz at one point last year was closing ball games over Alex Wilson. Now, mind you, those games when he was doing it weren't anything because Soria was gone. He was in Pittsburgh. But come on. You have to put your players in the best position to win. I can't chastise them about anything they did today. Ausmus did everything correct today. You can't say anything bad about how he managed because his bullpen's a dumpster fire and his starter doesn't even last a fucking inning. You know, he was just trying to get outs. He was trying to get someone to stop the bleeding is all it was today. But I mean, this team is like, it's such a roller coaster and they could make the playoffs. But I mean, they've had so many bad losses like that one in Chicago. You know, It's infuriating. It's fucking infuriating to watch this team lose 9-12 today when they had almost 20 hits. They left, I don't even know how many base runners they left on base. They had time in and time out. They were chipping away, and they lose. And that loss yesterday, I keep getting this same feeling like I did in 2013 when Poppy hit that grand slam. It's one of those losses after they have momentum that sucks the wind out of their sails and they don't come back from it. You know, and this series against Cleveland is huge because they can't beat Cleveland. They beat them twice. They're 2-13 against them. 2-13. Now the Tigers a couple years ago dominated Cleveland. But this isn't domination. This is pure ass rape. And you know, Cleveland's going to clinch the Central this series. Because the Tigers they're not playing for the Central. It's done. But you know, they're running out of games. And luckily for them, Baltimore, you know, it happens, you know, it's happenstance that Baltimore and Toronto play each other for 3. You know, but they have to split. They have to split with Cleveland, and they have to go in Atlanta either tied with Baltimore or a half game behind. They have to, or they're not going to make it to the wild card. They're not. You know, I was hoping, you know, for selfish reasons, so I could go to a wild card game, that, you know, they could jump Toronto because they were a game behind Toronto in the standings. But Toronto's won the last 2 games, and the Tigers have lost the last 2. And mathematically speaking, they could still jump them if they got hot and swept out. And, you know, Baltimore won. But like I said, they're going against the team that they're 2-13 against. And they have Buck Farmer against Corey fucking Kluber tomorrow. So chances are they're probably to lose 3 straight. So I don't know. It's just, like I said, I know they're not going to the World Series. I just want to see them make the playoffs. It's all I want. And to see this team that has this kind of offense and this kind of talent, but they're, you know, with the way Fulmer's pitched this year, you know, Daniel Norris, when I went and saw him pitch, he had 11 strikeouts. He was great. You know, I mean, the kids have pitched great this year. Matt Boyd, I can't dog him because he's pitched good. You know, 75% of the season this year. I mean, he had a stretch, you know, this year where he was outstanding. And he was great his last time out. So I can't even dog him. He's a big reason why the Tigers are where they're at. But it's the back end of that bullpen. Oh my God, Mark Lowe is bad. Justin Wilson, you know, he shows flashes of being okay. And Shane Green, oh my God, he's so bad. But Ausmus keeps tossing him out there. I mean, Alex Wilson yet again has been one of their best relievers, and K-Rod has blown 5 saves this year. You know, but Frankie's been good the majority of the season, even mixed in with the 5 blown saves. But I honestly hope they don't re-sign him because I see Joe Nathan written all over him because he's got the lowest strikeout rate of his career this year. And I think he's getting by on Pierce stuff because I remember when Valverde had that year in 2011. You know, his strikeout rate wasn't, you know, super high, but he didn't blow a save. And then the year after, you know, he blew up because you can only get by being a closer, allowing X amount of base runners by not striking out a certain amount of guys for so long before those guys come around and score. It's all there is to it. And yesterday's a prime example. He couldn't get a strikeout when he needed to get a strikeout. And it's a bad thing. I really hope they don't bring him back. I don't. And I know it's going to be blasphemy in the Tigers circle. People always had a great year, and, you know, he's been the best closer. He has. He's been the most consistent closer the Tigers have had since probably Joaquin Benoit in 2013 or Valverde in 11. He has. I'll give you that. But you look at his numbers, and you look at, you know, advanced statistics that say eventually, you know, these 5 blown saves are going to turn into more than that. You know, and it just is what it is. Because it's going to. So I hope they don't bring him back. Bruce Rendon's had a great year. His last 11 outings, he's been superb. You know, but he's not in the 8th inning because fucking Ausmus thinks that Shane Green's some, you know, magical fucking wizard that can't get anyone out. He couldn't get me out if I stepped to the plate, and I suck. But so does he, so we'd fucking cancel each other out for shittiness. So, it's just, I don't know. They can make the playoffs. They can, you know, but they got to split with Cleveland, and we need Toronto to take 2 or 3. And we got to go into Atlanta the last 3 of the year and sweep. That's all there is to it. Because they're not making the first wild card because they're chasing 2.5, you know, because the Yankees, you know, couldn't help us out at all. But it's just infuriating to watch this team right now. Especially with today, how they chipped away so many hits, 9 runs, and they could not stop the bleeding. They could not. If you could just get one guy to give you 3 innings of 1-run ball, you know, you would have won that game 9-5 today. It is all there is to it. But they couldn't. I mean, Sanchez pitched like shit. Pelfrey gives up a 2-run fucking home run to Alex Gordon. And then Shane Green's awful. And that, Blaine Hardy, it is what it is. He's not very good either. But I don't know, guys. I don't know. Like I said, I know I haven't made a lot of videos this year. I made 2. And, but I've been keeping up. And I'm still, as you can tell, just as fucking aggravated as ever by this team. Because I want to see him make the playoffs. So, other news, Jose Fernandez died today. I wanted to touch on this too before I end this video. I was crushed when I read the news this morning. I woke up, it was about 8 o'clock this morning, and they posted on MLB Trade Rumors, star pitcher Jose Fernandez dies, and I couldn't believe it. I sat there and looked at my phone with my jaw open for like 5 minutes, and I was looking on Twitter, everything. I'm like, please let this be fake. Please let this be fake, but no. This kid was 24. Career .258 ERA in 76 starts. He had one of the greatest sliders of all time. I mean, I was sitting there watching highlight videos of Jose Fernandez today because I loved Jose Fernandez. He was easily one of my all-time favorite players. Easily. Electric stuff. I mean, the first game of the year against the Tigers, he strikes out 16 Tigers, and the Tigers gave him his first home loss ever. It took 4 years in the league. And mind you, one of them was a Tommy John shortened season, and last year he got shut down too. But 4 years to get your first home loss. That's how good this kid was. I mean, one of the nastiest wipeout sliders ever. And just watching the way this guy was pitching. 99 on the black with a changeup with an 88. You couldn't, that faded. With a slider that, you knew it was coming, but you still couldn't hit it. If you had, if you had 5 tries, you'd miss all 5. It was that good. He was a special talent, and it's sad he was 11 months younger than me. I just turned 25 on Friday, and he was 24 with a kid on the way, and he died, and that killed me. That really did, because he was such a great young talent, and now he's gone. This is one of the biggest tragedies baseball's had in a long time. So, that was sad. So, thoughts out to his family, and that's a big blow. Like I said, Fernandez was great. Outstanding pitcher. So, fucking Tigers, guys. Fucking Tigers, man. Let's just hope. They gotta split with Cleveland and sweep Atlanta. That's all there is to it. So go Blue Jays, because the Tigers got to go up against a team with Buck Farmer on the mound tomorrow against Corey Kluber, a team that they've won 2 games against all year. Go Tigers.